So, hello and thank you for your time. First of all, how do you feel?
Um, Absolutely. I'm really, really pleased that we brought the weather with us because you
I
deserve
hate you.
you deserve the rain after so much sun. No,
Yeah.
the show went really, really well. Crowd was really good. We were really pleased that people would come and see us at this ungodly hour of the morning. So yeah, really good. Really good.
I can confirm you bring the wizard with you.
We have to. Someone has to. We pick up the mantle and we bring the misery. So that's why they booked us.
Why did you bring Stephen King with you?
It's what we do.
Thank you. So, the band played on the temple stage earlier today. How was the show for you? Because you did the opening.
Oh no, there was a really cool band called Blood on before us.
Blood. Oh, yeah,
BLUD.
sorry.
Really cool. So that was a really nice start to the day. And yeah, it went really, really well. It was really nice. So many people came to see us, which is always good. And sound was great on stage. Everybody was chuffed. It's a shorter set than we tend to do, but that kind of made it a bit more urgent. And I think it was just, that's the main part of all this. It's just the fun about actually playing and finally getting these songs out there. Because obviously we did one album and that was out, and then we were essentially dropping the second album before we'd ever played a show. So it was good to finally be able to out there and see so many smiling, miserable faces.
You love that word, misery.
Yeah, of course. Such is life.
I agree with you. So, what does playing at the Hellfest mean for you and for the band?
It's especially special, this one, because being signed to Season of Mist, so there being the French label and us having a lot of friends here, to do the first French show that we've ever done. I mean, we played in the previous band Valenfire. We obviously played in a couple of festivals in France and in Paris. But so for Strigoi's first show in France to be at Hellfest is definitely the way, the place you want to be in order to.
The festival is a monument right now.
Oh, completely, yeah. And it's also my first time actually attending the festival. I've never been
Really?
here before. Yeah, completely. So
I hope you like it.
no, it's honestly, it's been great, and everybody else has been fantastic and very supportive of us. Because yeah, although we have members like Greg McIntosh, everybody obviously knows his previous work with Paradise Lost and Valenfire, and then Ben, myself, we've all played in bands before, but Strigoi is technically a new band, so it doesn't really matter. You're only as good as your last gig. Well, if our first gig is Hellfest in France, then
it's a new gig.
yeah, it's a
New
good
gig,
introduction.
festival,
Exactly.
a new departure for you.
Yeah, that's it. It's like it's a new band, so even though there's 2 records, but the second record being on Season of Mist, so it's good to play in front of a Season of Mist home crowd, you know. And all the label were there as well today, so that was really nice to finally meet people you've only spoken to on WhatsApp or what have you.
How do you find the French audience?
Always awesome, really passionate. The French always really seem to, I mean, I hate to block any group of people into any type of situation, but every time I've played France, and I've been playing France backwards and forwards probably for at least 10 years, it's always been, people are really passionate and actually care about the music. They care about buying the vinyl, they care about buying the shirt, because they want, it's like part of a club as opposed to some sort of posery scene. I really get that vibe from the French audience and just general French music fans. They seem very passionate about the music that they like.
I've heard the German audience is a bit more quiet.
Yeah.
You can confirm?
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
Coke Zero. It really does depend. It's that they can. you'll be playing and you will just see this sea of faces and you think, oh, I hope they like us, and you stop and they go berserk, and then you play again and they just really want to watch you, and that's still gratifying as well. I mean, anybody that comes to see you play is gratifying. So yeah, there's differences with all different types of people. That's what makes the world such a great place. Well, one of the positives, I suppose.
Okay. So, how did you get prepared for this show? Because it can be difficult. Maybe some rehearsal or other things.
Yeah, it's actually, this one was the first time we'd all actually rehearsed in a room together. Previously, yeah, I mean, because I'm in the southeast of England, then Ben and Sam are in London, Greg is in Yorkshire, and then our drummer's Italian. So it's rare. We tend to we know the songs we just rehearse in a studio on our own. So this time we actually pulled the trigger on, well, let's actually do it and actually have it. And it was really gratifying. We've all known each other for a while, so yeah, like Sam was in Valenfire with me, so I've known him quite a while. I was in Valenfire with Greg. Yeah, well, Guido, who's now actually the drummer in Paradise Lost, so that, he's done well out of Strigoi. He was on tour with us with another band when Valenfire toured Europe, so that's why we stayed in touch. So it's all friends, sort of. So we get each other's vibe. It's just getting in a room and actually just finalising a few bits. It's been good. I think we'll do it again. I mean, it is a bit difficult. People have got to get flights and things like that. But once you're there, it really does make it worthwhile. So I think we'll stop using the WhatsApp and email and all the other nonsense. Let's just get together like bands used to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Last time we have talked, because you talked with Mathieu before, I'm doing the interview for him. Last time we have talked was for the release of Viscera, which happened almost 1 year ago. How do you feel about this album right now?
Still so immensely proud. I mean, particularly from my perspective, because I feel like I've been awarded this wonderful opportunity. I write the majority of the lyrics, and that gives me sort of a cathartic platform. I mean, obviously, Greg and I, we work for everything together, and we agree on what's going to happen, and we started. That's kind of how the dynamic works. So, but yeah, I mean, where are we? We're in June now, so actually, it's probably only been about 9 months. It feels longer, but yeah, still immensely proud of that record. I mean, for it to actually happen, because that was born out of COVID and lockdowns. We just started writing, and for it to have ended up as a fan, because I'm a fan of what we do. I still see myself as that person.
You are a fan of your own work.
Well, I'm a fan of just music. Just if it's good, I mean, I wouldn't do it otherwise. But I'm still. It's almost like I'm looking inwards, because I then put Viscera on and I think, well, I remember where I was writing that, or what deal I had, whatever I was going through, or what have you. But yeah, very proud. I think we all are. It's the band being fully realised. The first album was, we just wanted to do a band. Let's see what happens off the back of Valenfire. And again, Abandon All Faith was a really cool album, but then to step it up a notch with Viscera.
Just another question. You said you wrote all the lyrics. Does the title comes from your guts, or where does the title come from? Viscera. It's really intense.
So, well, I write the majority. I mean, obviously, Greg's got to sing them, but I will put things together. Initially, that song stemmed from researching a particular Greek island where the Catholic Church and the bastions of good banished all these people suffering from leprosy, and essentially left them there. And that's where the gate is, where it says abandon all hope, that you enter here. Well, subsequently, these people, out of the sight of God, as it's just we'll get rid of these human beings. Well, they managed to form their own society and took care of each other, and that really struck me, that they were treated as these sort of inhuman, diseased individuals that actually showed more humanity to each other than the people who put them there. And then when you start to analyze the human condition, that's what United in Viscera also, it's multi-layered, because I don't like to express too much what the lyrics mean, because people can have their own ideas. But it is everything that we kind of write is tends to be sort of a bit of an examination of the human condition, be that evil, be it good. Concepts have said, and also despising any organised religion. So you can mark it under one of those.
I don't really like religions.
No, I feel well they've caused more bloodshed than any world war. So it's just grotesque the way that people treat each other under the guise of goodness. I just find it remarkable that that people would do that. Greg and I, one day off in Amsterdam, we went to a medieval torture museum. It showed all these things. We had something to do, and the imagination that other human beings must have had to conjure up these instruments of agony because somebody disagreed with their views or believed something else. Just remarkable, grotesque, but it's what human beings do.
Yeah, that history reminds me that you had talked about misery when they were on the island, the leprosy. Yeah, everyone were in misery, were suffering from misery, and so they recreate a new society to try to get out of that.
Yeah, I mean that was the very seed of what ended up being the song. As I said, I don't want to give the whole game away, but it made me think, if you can imagine your body completely deteriorating, but internally you have, they had children, they bore children on the island, so how remarkable is that? So that was just where that came from, and that was sort of one of the first songs written for the new album. That was kind of where it sprung from into that. And this is our guitarist Ben.
Good evening. Hello.
Thank you.
Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour.
Bonjour. Ça va?
Plutôt bien, merci.
Okay, très bien.
So, another question, and thank you for the answer. You had the opportunity to play some songs from Viscera on stage. How does it feel to play them right now at the Hellfest?
Especially the song we were just saying. So the title song is when you're afforded 30 minutes. So we did pour over this, didn't we? That we have to give. You only have that 30 minutes to. You have to presume nobody's ever heard of you, nobody's ever seen you, and you also have to enjoy the set. So being able to play what we believe are the strongest songs of Viscera, and particularly that song, end on that. Well, it was the big doom, horrible song that brought the rain.
Yes.
That's why we played it. But then,
bring the weather.
but then we had King of All Terror. We had Seven Crowns of the first record, because people really seem to like that, and Phantoms, which was the first single. So it was a nice. I've always called it a mixtape of misery, because you'll have a big doom song, then you'll have a crust song, then a death song, then one song that's 40 seconds long, and it's just whatever we feel like. So we can't be sort of put in a box, which makes it harder to sell the band, but it's more honest that we do it that way than trying to be somebody that we're not. How did you feel about finally getting Viscera out there, man?
Oh, it was a wonderful experience because it was something that was unexpected, and it's all been a very pleasant surprise. Put it this way, the English attitude is this. You usually think everything's going to be terrible. Anything slightly nice happens, it's a pleasant surprise. This has been beyond that, and to really be a part of kind of what's nearly becoming like a sort of super group, really, because of all our background. I mean, Chris with Dev Munty and T, Greg with PL, Valenfire, myself, Satyricon and Carcass. It's great to bring all those flavours together, and everyone can kind of put a bit of themselves in. I mean, obviously the writing in the core is, from Chris and Greg, but for my influences, it's great to be able to turn on the grindcore when it's needed, but also bring the black metal stuff, where that's needed as well. And it's a really great feeling to be playing these songs. And Hollow, being the first single of Viscera on Season of Mist, it's a killer song. It's a killer song. It's got a great video, and it sets the tone for the entire show, with so many bits that kind of tick all the right boxes. And it was a wonderful experience. So there we go.
You know, if people hear Hollow, if they hear Hollow and they don't like it, then they're not going to like the rest of the set. But if they do like Hollow, they stick around. So we kind of, you cover all your bases, and then we can go.
Okay, thank you. At the beginning of 23, you also released the song "The Constrict of Misery." Yes.
Notice the running theme here.
Did you work on more new material for this year?
Those actually came. What we did when we did the session, we actually recorded 4 other songs as well. So that was one of that. So you will have got 2 songs with the special edition vinyl. Then it was Construct of Misery. There's still another song that's floating about. I can't say any more, but there will be potentially something on the horizon.
So we can expect new release, maybe of a single or an album?
I'm going to say no, because it made you miserable.
It's fueling the misery. You know, you can't give an element of happiness.
Okay, you got the point.
But if we were going to make you happy, then we would say potentially, maybe. Just keep an eye on all our socials.
Once again, it's like edgelording at this point. It's bringing in that potential, but then you've also got that overwhelming sense of dread, which is kind of very fitting, really, for all the stuff.
That's what you
and
need.
One more thing to add about Construct of Misery, for myself, tracking the record, that was the song I played for nearly, it felt like hours, it's probably maybe 30 minutes straight, for Jamie Gomez, who produced the record, and Greg to get all the guitar tones. And I remember literally doing this riff over and I go, no, keep going, I did not stop.
You love to play with my emotions, guy.
It's the way. It's the way.
You're right. Okay. Did the creation process change in Strigoi since the release of Viscera?
No, well, we haven't really had the chance to. I mean, I've kept writing. I've got probably about 20 pages of ideas as we speak, and I've still got to try and save some off a phone that decided to explode in Czech Republic at Brutal Assault, and that had a load of new stuff on there. But any time that something comes along, the way that it works is slightly different to the way I've ever worked, which is I write the lyrics, I send, or just a lyrical idea, I send those prose to Greg. Greg absorbs that, and how he feels kind of dictates how the music sounds, and that's how Greg and I work. So it's completely opposite, whereas before you'd write a song and then go, right, what lyrics would work with this? It's completely the opposite way round. So that's why I'm always writing, because the moment Greg says, right, should we do something else? Like, cool, here you go. Here's an email with a ton of stuff. Let's see where we are. So that's it really for me.
Do you want to add something?
I'll add anything you ask me. Regarding this particular project, I mean, right now I've kind of been a conduit really for Chris and Greg's products, you know, the music they're making. I try and be as flexible as I can, and the key thing is with any of the stuff that this project is doing, I believe it's about serving the song and getting the mood right, because there was a bunch of songs that were written and that were kind of written, they were recorded in the session, but then there was a reason why certain tracks were chosen to keep the mood. So that's why maybe the songs that are kind of on the limited edition are a slightly different feel, and it's not to take away from those songs, but there's a very distinct theme and kind of trajectory of it all, isn't there?
You have to mark them between the two as well, because otherwise, if they sounded identical to the album, then one could confuse that they are part of the album. They're not. They are part of the session, but the album is beginning, middle and end deliberately as it was constructed, and then the others are, we spend a lot of time even in the order of flow because great believers in the album format because it's also potentially the sort of people that would listen to us. I completely understand if someone just likes a single, fantastic, but I like a record that takes you on a journey.
You like a continuity.
Yeah.
Of the song.
You know, just personal taste. So that's definitely the sort of thing we try to achieve.
Okay. Interesting. So, do you have any plans for touring?
Yeah, we've got some other festivals coming up, and we've got some more UK shows, but that's kind of there may be some others announced depending on how things move during the year. It's just people are busy, and that's how this would always be. That Greg has Paradise Lost. He also has Host, and Paradise Lost have got this Icon re-recording coming out, so that needs to be serviced. But we all, you know, same with Nick with Bloodbath. If Nick is out with Bloodbath, we have time, and it's just we're all very good friends, and we work together. So if there's a gap, Strigoi can do something, and Bloodbath can do something, or if PL are doing something, and that's just how we work. Because then that way, you know, you're not in that horrible situation where there are clashes. We have the same management and things, so. But you know, we want to get out as much as we can and to do this album justice. And if people want us to play, we'll play for them. But we'll see. Again, we will announce some stuff as it becomes.
Maybe some concert next year.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
In Paris, please.
I'd love to play Paris again. I had such a blast the last time. That was with Valenfire, and I'm trying to think what else I was going to say about food, but anyway, it was nice.
I was just about to add, I've got a very fine memory of playing Paris. This was with Carcass on the Death Crusher tour back in 2015, and it was around the events of the tragedy of the Eagles of Death Metal show. And a lot of bands were pulling at that time. They were pulling out tours, and you know, they're cancelling shows left, right, and centre. We were one of the few touring entourages that were touring still. The Paris show went in still, and the people were wonderful. It was very emotional, and actually that was a highlight to play there and to come back if there was an opportunity with Strigoi, being how strong this record is and how strong the parts are with the people and the influences everyone's bringing. I think it would be absolutely killer. So count me in.
Hey, guys, if you go back to Paris, I'm up for a beer.
100%. Oh yeah, 100%. Well, get your friends, get all your Parisian metalhead friends to all reach out to our agent, and let's see what we can do. I mean, we'll play if people book us. We'll come, providing the schedule. We have gaps. You know, all the other bands that I mentioned aren't busy, and when they are, like PL will go off for 2 months. Well, then we know we're not doing that, but then there are times. So, you know, if people want to see us, we'll crack on. We just want to fully realise the band. You know, this started as something Greg and I just wanted to do. We thought we'd do a record, and now we're here. We're playing live. We're 2 albums deep with a really good lineup. So from my perspective, you know, that's all my ambition has ever been, for this to be fully realised. It's not to be in a limousine with God knows what else. It's just to do it.
It's a good start for the moment. at
Good.
least.
I'm pleased to hear it.
Yeah. You bring misery on me. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. That's what we need.
As musician, you are playing music, but do you like to see other bands in concert? So, do you also plan to see some bands today?
I have a confession to make. I'm really, really gutted because I have such an early flight. I have to leave early, which means not only do I miss seeing Paradise Lost with Guido playing for the first time, but at the same time the Melvins are playing and I've never seen them. So yeah, I'm going to see who else is playing this afternoon and try and catch some other bands, but you'll have to discount me. Fortunately, Ben is going to actually be able to stay, and I don't know who you're checking out.
I will forget you.
Yeah, I'll be cramming as much as I can. I mean, they've got.
Please, do me a deal.
We've also got for myself, like old touring buddies like Testament, Paradise Lost, absolutely. Pantera is an absolute one I love to check out as well. I remember seeing them back in 1998 at the Ozfest when I was just a little nipper, so that would be really, really cool. You've got Mutoid Man, you've got the Melvins, you've also got Dance with the Dead. There's some excellent bands here. And Monomath as well, Slipknot,
I love them.
Monomath, old touring buddies of mine as well. So it's going to be good to see Johans actually. It's going to be really, really killer, and just keep the ball rolling, keep it rocking.
And
Just
don't.
reminded me, sorry to interrupt, I forgot Mutoid Man are playing, aren't they, now? And they have a brand new record coming out, and it's the same producer, Kurt Ballou, does our stuff. Honestly, if one band I can see today will be Mutoid Man. I'd forgot they were playing earlier, so I might be able to see them. So there you go, I feel my misery has risen. I might get to see somebody.
And don't worry, I plan to see Paradise Lost, so I will be there. If you had to pick one guest musician for your next single, who would you choose and why?
It's going to be such an obvious one. It would be Tom G from Triptychon and Celtic Frost, because ultimately there is a bit of Celtic Frost worship going on in this band, and we're all such enormous fans. So if I had to pick somebody, I think he would be the most appropriate as an artist as well. And from what I've been told, he apparently really likes the band, so that would be something that I would really relish. It would be really lovely to work with him. I've got a lot of respect for that guy.
Maybe you have something?
No, I'm going to absolutely back up Chris on that. I mean, I thought this just struck my mind thinking about the song Napalm Frost. Wouldn't it be cool to do maybe a trio of Greg, Tom, and Barney?
Yeah, get Barney involved.
That would be so cool, you know. And the thing is, they've all got such unique voices. It's like when you hear Barney, you know it's Barney, hear Tom, but also Greg. You know, it's been wonderful to hear Greg, you know, really step up in the vocal side of things. He's very, very distinct. And the key thing, I'm sure the others will agree, is serving the song. You know, even if it's someone who might be maybe obscure to some people, it's whoever can add that extra element to make that song the best it can be. That's what it needs. And if it doesn't, well, fine. You know, there's some amazing ingredients in this band already. So it's serving the song, always serve the song.
Okay. So I have still the time for maybe 2 extra questions.
Sure.
I have a tricky one.
Got it.
It's like, if Strigoi... Huh? Well, if Strigoi should be a plate or a recipe, which one it will be?
A play?
A plate, a dish.
Oh, a plate or a dish?
Yeah.
Does it have to be a receptacle, or can it be another eating?
Whatever you choose, don't worry.
I would suggest if it was going to be a septic tank. What? or do you know what's the worst thing to possibly ever see is an empty pint glass, and they've just called time. So the pint glass is empty, you've just got the little dregs at the bottom, the residue. You're having a really good night and they've called time. Now that's miserable. So an empty pint glass.
I was actually going to like maybe the empty pint glass of Snakebite and Black.
Yes. Oh, imagine that. Oh, and you can still smell the blackcurrant.
It's dry.
Oh, it's that horrible.
It's dry, but you can still. It's you know what was in there, but you keep supping, and it's so dry.
And you've got it just at the back of your throat, just on your tongue, and you're like, if only just one more.
This smells of the 90s.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
You know, this smells of that club. We all know where we've been.
Yeah.
You know, we've all been there. We've all done it.
You're real.
That would be it.
Okay, just a question for you, because I saw on your hat the symbol.
Yes.
Because, so do you share the view on Satanism, or?
I think when it comes to this sort of thing, it's something that's very, very misunderstood. You can go down the cliche routes and reading all the anti-leves
I am
and
not on the
all
cliche
that sort of thing, right? The key thing is it's making sure that you are a free-thinking, progressive human being, that can really do the best they can. But then that sounds too positive for this. That sounds way too positive, for this. I think really when it comes to this particular symbol, it's being progressive. I think I'll just say that, progressive.
Okay. So thank you. That was the last question for me, and it will be time. Maybe the last one will be for you, for your French audience, if you want.
Well, what can we say? We are so pleased to have finally made it to Hellfest in front of all our French fans, who were fantastic. Thank you all for turning up on such a rainy, miserable day, thanks to us. Thanks to our label as well, the Pride of France, Season of Mist. Michael's here today. And yeah, honestly, anybody that hasn't come to Hellfest before, as a first timer, it's fantastic. Do yourself a favour and come here next year.
And you, if you want to add
I'm
something.
going to say merci beaucoup.